شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان فمن شهد منكم الشهر فليصمه ومن كان.
We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has made us to witness this month of blessing, the month of Barakah. We have been discussing Islam and patriotism, our understanding, our perspective. The first time we talked about this topic, we looked at patriotism. Then again, we have started looking at the factors that will encourage patriotism. The last time we discussed, we stopped on the point where we were discussing an experience in the time of Umar ibn Khattab, radiyallahu anhu, where the booty from Persia was brought and the Amirul-Awwal was crying. And the people look at him. He said, those who brought these, they have been fear. They have refused to steal. If they choose to steal, this thing will not be this much. And the people replied him, it is because you two, you have not been stealing. If you have not been stealing, they will not steal. But if you choose to pick something for yourself, they'll be doing the same thing. That's to tell you how patriotism gives way to robbery, brigandage, and in the worst case, when everybody starts to take care of themselves, fighting against the law is when the leadership has failed to preserve the public wealth. Now, another point is there must be unity of purpose. And that's what will bring about unity of the mind. Neither color or tongue should differentiate us. You all act as one. You remember the verse we earlier reminded ourselves where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us, Ya ayyuhan nas inna khalaqnakum min dhakar wa unsa وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ لِتَعَارَفُوا إِنَّ أَكْرَمَكُمْ عِندَ اللَّهِ أَتْقَاكُمْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ حَلِيمٌ habir. Allah has told us clearly, no arrogance, no pride of color, of race. He has only created it into groups so that you know yourselves, so that you can identify yourselves. You identify yourselves with language, with color. This is their color. This is their language. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, it's not for you to hate yourselves. It's just for identity. The only thing that can give you rank before Allah is Iman. It's your faith. How strong is your faith is what will give you rank before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we must create that sense of uniformity. We must all be thinking and working for the improvement and greatness of our nation. Not that the leadership is stealing and people are also stealing. But if our minds are on greatness, then there will be patriotism. The other point that I want to mention is concern for the poor. You see, the danger of the modern community is that we are gradually becoming seriously isolated from ourselves. You have built your own flat on your plot. You create a fence. Sometimes the fence can even be taller than the building. So that for you to see the roof of the building, you have to mount something just to protect yourself. But indirectly, you're also segregating yourself from your community. Meanwhile, Islam has taught you that you cannot eat to your fill. You cannot say everything is okay until you have taken care of your neighbors, to your right, to your left. And this says 40 houses, another one says 10 houses. But when you have segregated yourself, how do you take care of them? How do you know what is happening in the community? How do you become relevant? But for you to promote patriotism compulsorily, there must be care and concern for the poor, the needy, the downtrodden. We must take care of them and preserve them. This is very, very vital. And earlier I've mentioned the essence of zakat is for this purpose, is to ensure that we elevate the poor from the level of poverty. They have something in their hand, they can take care of themselves, and they can grow. They can climb the economic ladder. This is the essence of zakat in Islam. When you take care of the poor and they are not suffering, definitely the opportunity for them to serve and become integrated into the system will be very easy. But when you leave them, they become the easiest way for the devil to infiltrate your community. The idle hand is the devil's workshop. That's why in the time of Umar ibn Abdulaziz, it was reported that the rich came to him. The thieves, the armed robbers are increasing in number, and you have stopped cutting their hand. He said, yes, I will not cut their hand until you give them their due. Pay your zakat. When you pay your zakat, then it's going to be my duty to discipline the errant ones. So the rich started to pay zakat. It got to a time when in the community, zakat was paid, but there was no poor man to collect it. So in the first time in the history of mankind, poverty was eliminated. When you eliminate poverty, the people come, they have rest of mind. Government is taking care of our needs. Why would they steal? Why would they be disobedient? Why would they abandon the rules to become thugs? It won't happen. So it's very important for our government. You take care of the poor, the needy, the downtrodden. Look at them. What are their needs? How can we cater for them? Is it schooling? Is it feeding? Is it accommodation? Take care. They will be loyal. They will be devoted. The last point I want to mention under this is God consciousness. In Islam, it is very, very vital for us to always know that there is God. He is monitoring. He is seeing everything. And to him is the final return. He will judge, he will punish, he will reward. When we have this consciousness, the leader will lead well. He will not embezzle public funds. There was a time in Sudan when armed robbery pervaded. They were terrorizing the community. And General Nimeri, who was the head of Sudan then, saw that, what can I do? Then he decided that, look, we are introducing Sharia. We are introducing Sharia in our community. And for 6 months after the introduction of Sharia, there was no case of armed robbery. The community became peaceful. Why? Because of Sharia. The armed robber knows that if you are caught, you may lose your arm. And when it is caught, it becomes a kind of a receipt, a public receipt you'll be carrying about. Once the people see you, they know you are once an armed robber. So God consciousness is very, very important for the leaders. You must know there is God, and that one day you are going to account before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala how you lead the people. And don't forget, He has warned. Don't follow your self-desire. That self-desire, Allah says, is something that easily misleads and helps you to abandon the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So these are the factors that will help us to grow patriotism, to embed it in our culture, to train and entrench it in our system. But how can you grow patriotism when we have all boycotted God? And we boxed God to a corner of the mosque or the church. Outside that, we don't want the name of God mentioned in our activities. We don't want reference made to Him. The smallest thing, no. Leave God out of this. Why we do that? we praise the errant ones, people who are corrupting the society. I remember reading the comment of a man. He said, you outlaw polygamy, but in your presence, people are having mistresses. You are creating law for abortion, for unwanted pregnancies, from irresponsible sexual activities. But you don't want polygamy. You must understand it. Polygamy is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you to take care of some of these problems. You don't want it. That's the law of Allah. You don't want it. In the reality, we have boxed God out of our lives. And that has given us the freedom to do what we like. In a situation where the individual wealth is driving all of us crazy. Everybody wants to become a millionaire in a day. We only go to listen to religious leaders who are exhorting us to how to make money. The ones who are praising the rich. Everybody wants to get rich. Everybody is rushing to make money, to become the richest. Because of our love for this individual wealth, you kill people. You kidnap to take ransom. And when you have nobody to kidnap, you kidnap yourself and make your family members suffer to pay you money. People eagerly steal the resources of the nation under various pretenses. Why is this very easy? We collude with politicians. The moment they come, the civil servants will teach them the way to steal money and how to escape the law. We all do this because we have become individualistic and sometimes very, very selfish. We are no longer concerned about the public. The attention is the individual. On the part of the government, salaries are delayed. That's if it's paid at all. There are times when people are paid half salary. They have worked for the month. They are entitled to 50,000. You have cut it to 25. What will happen? Patriotism cannot be sustained because they must look somewhere else to meet up. In the process, you are guiding them to paths against the law. They want to do something anyhow. Or retirees who are dying on queue. People who should just be receiving alerts. My money has been paid. My money has been paid. But now they have to go and queue. Or when they are hearing that those who are charged with managing their money have embezzled the money in such a terrible, tough volume that you are forced to start asking questions. What would they do with this kind of amount of money? What would they do with it? Those who are supposed to protect the retirees are the ones punishing them. And so every time you are calling them, come and do accreditation, come and do accreditation. They are there to do accreditation, but on cue, some will drop and die. How do you want people to love their country, to love their leader, to respect them? They are not sure of salary. They are not sure of their claims. If this is sustained, then you cannot have a system of patriotism in place. Another problem is, look at the issue of employment, youth employment. Employment is not there. You may be in a place and you see opportunities like this. It's reserved for some people. You want to join the civil service, the public service, the army, the police, you apply. You did everything. You think you came out tops. But while you are jogging, you are running and doing all these things, you see some of your colleagues sitting under the tree, drinking tea, drinking wine, enjoying it, singing and dancing. And when the results come out, they'll be the first on the list. How do you want people to be patriotic? When their rights are taken from them forcefully, no employment, then you are not even promoting youth entrepreneurship. The conditions to form a company will make it difficult for you to form and register your company. Then when you register, for you to even secure a contract, the things you'll be asked will make it very, very difficult for you to even think of, how can I survive out here? It's not going to be possible. So when we have all this in place, how can you expect patriotism? These are the things Islam came to eliminate. Then, when our laws protect the rich, imprison the poor, a man steals a goat, the court sends him to jail for 6 months. And another man has stolen 1 billion. And the court asked him to refund 500 million and go away with the remaining. Or is given 1 month imprisonment. Automatically, that cannot teach people to be patriotic, to love their country, to love their nation. It's not going to be possible. Islam emphasizes adlu, principle of justice and fair play. Ihdilu wa aqrabu litaqwa. Be just is closest to piety. Until we bring about justice and fair play, when we remove self-desire and we are able to serve the community, serve everybody, then we will be institutionalizing patriotism. People will love their country. They will love their leaders. But now, can any leader move around in public like Umar, radiallahu anhu? They won't even try it. The only time we see them, the only time they are close to us is during elections. The moment the elections are over, they have won, they go into tinted glass vehicles. You cannot even see them. You don't know whether they are around or not. So all of us, it's good to be patriotic, but we must ensure we put in place those factors that will encourage patriotism and make our citizens to love their country, love their leader, and be ready to serve. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
هذا القرآن يوحدنا لطريق الخير يوجهنا الله تعالى أنزله ورسول الله معلمنا هذا القرآن يوحدنا لطريق الخير يوجهنا